Hey, navigators. My name is Brooke Plack, and I'm your host here today on the Navigating Personal Growth Show. And we are talking about how to not end up in a fist fight with your family over the holiday vacation, right? Or maybe just not having any miscommunications or harsh words. Well, if you love your family, but you dread traveling over the holidays, this is the episode for you. If you're worried about those curt remarks and those snide comments, like we have all been there. The mom who tries to pre-manage expectations, the dad who tries to make everything perfect. And then they end up just talking to you like you're 12 again, like, hello, I have turned into an adulthood and I don't need you to manage every moment of this holiday. But here we are, and we all know it happens. And I want to tell you, first and foremost, you are not crazy for feeling this way. It is literal biology, like rooted in us, that brings back those patterns, brings back those memories. And that is totally normal. And in this episode, when you finish it, by the end, we are going to talk through some specific ways and specific things that you can respond to that's going to help you maintain your joy and your peace in the chaos. So, like most families in America, there is somebody in charge. A lot of times it's the mom in charge of getting everybody together and setting the date and setting the time and figuring out all the things and who's going to bring this and who's going to do this. And then if you're the attendee, you're trying to make sure you have all the presents wrapped with the right ribbon and the labels on them and you haven't forgotten anybody. And what are you going to get crazy Aunt Sally? Like, you don't even want to buy her a present if I have to order something else off Amazon for $7 that someone's just going to throw away. Like, what is the point? And I have found myself stuck in this situation so many times during the holidays, just wanting to show up well, to arrive well, to fit in well. And like, not to mention, what if you're going to a new relationship, a new family, a new group of people that you've never been to before? And all of those emotions can start to rise up in us and can make things totally awkward. I remember the first year of my husband and I's Christmas together. It was almost 10 years ago. And I opened my stocking on Christmas morning and there was like a few things in the bottom of it. And I was like, oh, I got to pre-manage these expectations a little bit better. So, honey, we fill the stocking all the way up with stuff flowing out of the top of it and wrap every little teeny tiny thing, because that's what my mom always did for me. And guess what? That's what I was used to. And so the next holiday, he knew that. And he got me like a big cup and stuck it all the way down. And there's like the whole stocking was like one of those big like Stanley cups or something, or whatever cup was popular at the time. So he got the point, right? But that situation is just a forecast of so many things that could go right, but also so many things that could go wrong when you're visiting your family for the holidays. So here's what's really happening, okay? Below the surface. Everyone's out of routine. The kids are out of their nap routine. Adults are out of their sleep routine. Maybe you got up early to make a long drive. We are eating foods that we're not normally used to eating. Okay, too much sugar, a lot of high fat foods, all those traditional things that aren't things that we normally eat. And our bodies become exhausted and moody and edgy. And it's just normal biology happening inside of us. And it's actually not people trying to be an asshole, right? And at the end of the day, some people might just be overstimulated. And this could be adults and children alike. And it's not necessarily like, oh, they're neurodivergent or autistic or ADHD. I mean, they may be, right? I am. But they may not be. They may just be like, this is a lot going on. Maybe normally I work from home, or I work in a very consistent office where we have the same meetings and the same times. And when everybody gets out of their routine, things can go awry. And so it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make your family bad. But I think the real question is, what do we do about it? And so you're going to want to stay till the end of the episode, because that's what we're going to tackle after trivia in the trenches. What living relative is closest to the T-Rex? The chicken. Is that not insane? Like, I was thinking some big giant animal, and I was like, the elephant, the crocodile, like, I don't know. Nope. Birds evolved from a group of species called theropods, which is like the T-Rex. Interesting, huh? So what are we going to do about it? Situations get tense. We're at our family holidays. How do we address it? Number one, you need to check your expectations. What is actually realistic? All right. everything's not going to go perfect. The turkey's going to be late. The gift didn't get shipped on time. Somebody's printing out something. Somebody's grabbing an Amazon gift card at Dollar General. Like, I don't know, but check our expectations about what's really important to us. What is that one memory or that one thing you want to make sure that happens? And if that happens, you're willing to let everything else go, right? If the stockings are all stuffed, that's the most important thing to you, and the rest of it doesn't matter. That is so hard sometimes and so much easier for me to say right now. And you can't control other people's behavior, but you can control your peace. And you can control how you show up, and you can control how you respond. And that's going to be key as we go through these practice scenarios towards the end of the episode. And then go play outside. Play, air quotes right here. Literally, like if things get weird or hairy or wonky, there's almost always kids there. Hey, I'm going to go play with the kids. And even if you don't go play with the kids and you just stand there and watch them play, sometimes just getting outside, getting that brain reset, reconnecting with the sunshine or the rain or the grass can help to deflate a situation. And it doesn't mean like that you're having to say like, I don't want to be a part of this conversation. I don't want anything to do with you. You can just be like, hey, I think I'm going to go outside and see the kids. And that's all you have to say, and just go. And that can help regulate our nervous systems in a big, big way. And lastly, like shift the energy in the room. If things are getting tense and they're getting crazy, then how about saying like, hey, I think it's time for dessert. Or Aunt Susie, do you want to come help me get the gifts for everybody? Just change up what's happening. I always like to say, hey, everybody want to play a game? And get out some cards or some dominoes or anything to shift that energy can really help take a day from being all about family and celebrating to we got the cops in the front yard and my two cousins are in a fist fight, right? Because nobody wants to get there. Nobody wants to get to that point of violence, but stuff happens with families. And I think one thing that I would be remiss like not to say in the episode is we have to also remember all the baggage people are carrying as they walk into that holiday, because you really don't know like who has lost a job recently, who's had a miscarriage, who's behind on their house payment, like, and then everyone's trying to show up the best versions of themselves and all smiley and happy when really like they might be carrying really big loads. And you hug your, favorite cousin, you're like, how are you? And they usually respond with fine. And then they might not be fine. So as we keep those things in mind, it helps us to just focus on what it is we're really there about, finding that peace and joy and moving through that holiday and trying to capture some good memory to carry with us, even though there's lots of family patterns and behaviors that are behind that. And like I said at the beginning, it is truly like biological that we remember that, especially if you're going back to those same houses where you could have experienced abuse or trauma or misbehavior by someone else in the family. All right, so now let's talk about a few like what if situations, because I think this is what happens to me as I drive to family events is always like, well, what if I forgot this? What if I say this? What if so-and-so and so-and-so don't get along? Because you know that they're always at each other's throat. So here's a few situations of what could happen to you at these family holiday vacations that you might be able to diffuse that situation and bring everything right back down. So first, I want to say it's important to remember that emotional maturity and emotional intelligence is not about fixing everyone. It's just about setting the temperature of what's going on. So for example, maybe somebody says to you, well, you're just too sensitive, especially like your older sister, older siblings, right? They think they need to tell you how to live, even though you're now in adulthood. And what if you responded with, I'm not too sensitive, or I may be sensitive, but I'm also self-aware and I need just a minute. And then go outside and play with the kids. Or go get dessert, or go get a game, or, go mix a drink, or whatever it is that you do, right? What if your grandma is, you never help enough? And you responded, you know what? What can I do to help right now? And although they might be right, and you see them once a year, like just go jump in and help right then. Instead of taking it and being like totally defensive and feeling like that I do too, help, I need to, and then laundry list approving all the things that you do to help the situation. What if you just jump up and help right then? Or this is the one that I get from my grandparents every year. Why don't you visit more often? Remember, their pace of life is totally different than where you're at. And so a simple response of, I love it when I'm here seeing you, but I also have to keep a balanced schedule. And that's it. Instead of letting it feel guilty because that's what I do. I like to wear that. It's like, oh, I should be, I should. And then I start wearing someone else's should, and that is so, so hard. All right. And then lastly, this is the one, I'm cringing behind the microphone for those of you listening on, not like watching a screen while you're listening, is when someone starts talking about politics or religions or lifestyle debates or uses some sort of inappropriate slang word that just goes all over you. And I think responding with something like, I love that we're real passionate about that, but let's talk about something lighter for now. Hey, how was that football game last weekend? I saw that you were playing football. Or how's Sally's gymnastics going? Is she like doing meets, or is she love the beam the most? Or just changing the subject, because everyone comes from a different place, a different reality, and a different set of circumstances that they're walking into that family holiday with. And I think if we can focus on what unites all of us, which is our family bond, or sometimes just blood, or sometimes just friendship, that I think that can make all the difference in what we take away with and leave, and avoiding those family fights, that uncomfortable situation, and leaving with more tension than you came with. And so if you love today's episode, you do not want to miss next Thursday's episode. We are always navigating growth together. So be sure you subscribe and follow on your favorite platform. And I'm going to close with this quote. You can't control who shows up at the table, but you can control who you are when you sit down. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Navigating Personal Growth podcast. I'm Brooke Plack. Join me again next week on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. This podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.